Hello, everyone, and welcome. It is Wednesday, and we are doing the rock IDs for our Patreon supporters. The crew is all assembled, and we're going to get to 4 different rock IDs today. Our goal is to try to tell you exactly what it is. But if we can tell you that, hey, it's not a meteor or it does need a bit more research, that's what we're here to do as well. As you know, we have a bunch of people here who are very experienced meteorite collectors, and a few actually have backgrounds in some geology. So, unlike me, they should be able to help quite a bit. So, this first one is from Ollie, and I would love to get Sue to talk us through this since Sue gets to deal with our Patreon supporters, our Rockhound supporters, pretty intensely with getting their videos ready. So, Sue, can you tell us about Ali's?
Okay, yes, this specimen was submitted by Ali, who is from Saudi Arabia. He found this specimen in the desert. He said he found it in an area that has hardly any rocks, and I mean, exactly, he said there may have been one or two other rocks besides this one. It's mostly just sand and dirt. It's a part of the desert where it's kind of in a valley. There are mountains, but they're very far apart, so just flat and like desert dunes.
Sue, if I remember on this one, didn't he? He said it was on a mountain and it was like the only rock on the mountain.
Yeah, he said he only saw one other rock the whole time he was out hunting. So it's unusual to find rocks, and then this rock specifically was very unusual. So yeah, here are the things that he meteoritic features that he felt that he was observing: brown fusion crust, orientation and flow lines, and then he was describing something else. I thought he was describing rollover lips. I think you said you thought it was more regmaglyphs that he was describing. So we'll take a look at the video and see what the crew thinks. And then also, since we are not playing audio on the messages anymore, I did want to share that Ali had a nice greeting for the entire crew and wanted to thank us for what we do and the education that we put out there, and that he really is, he's crossing his fingers and hoping he has something good for us today.
Yeah. We hope you have the good stuff too, buddy. Seriously.
The good stuff. Yep.
Yeah. So I thank you, Sue. That's one thing I do want people to know is we appreciate these messages, and especially from from viewers all over the planet. We're really pulling for you guys. If you we're here to help you identify if you have a sample that's worthy of taking to the next level and investing money in maybe a thin section and getting that analyzed or getting something fully classified. And then we would love to be involved helping you through that process. So the whole thing about it is it's a win-win for you and us too. If you submit a sample that really looks like a meteorite, that's great for you. But it's also great for us because we get to ride it, that adventure with you. So that's what we're doing today, Ali. Um,
And I
this is
wanted to
your
say too, Ali, this was Ali's second attempt at a video. And when he sent and he gave me enough time to actually like watch his first one and then give him feedback. And then he came back with a new one. And it was such a big improvement. And I just want to thank our Rockhounders that actually work with us to get the best video possible for YouTube.
yeah. Thank you, babes. Now I'm not a geologist, as you guys know, so I'm just going to tell you what I'm seeing. Or maybe I should do it from the Rockhounders' point of view, because he said he saw some fusion crust. If you look at the top of that, it does look like a different color, like we always want it to be. It does look to be a thin layer, like we always ask it to be. We do see a little bit of different color between the inside and the outside, but and we do see a patch over there at like 1 o'clock of really dark potential fusion crust. So speaking for Ollie, that's what I'm seeing. Speaking from a meteoritic point of view, I'm seeing large crystals, no metal. And these are things I want you crew, if you would please raise your hand and we're going to go around the horn and comment on. And in fact, I think we're ready for it. If anyone has anything they want to point out, we're ready for your. It kind of looks like an albright at some little parts. You know what I mean? The big crystals of an albright. There is a very revealing cut surface for us to look at. And I'm really, really, really hoping someone looks at that and goes, I know exactly what we're looking at now. Not that I expect Allison, but Allison, what do you have for us?
At this point in time,
Yeah,
I
so
agree.
far.
Really liking a couple of the external features look possible, and it is responding to a magnet as we would expect a chondrite to do. But I don't love that peach color in there. And I'm not seeing any metal blebs sticking out on this or anything that really looks chondritic yet. I haven't yet got my eyes on that sliced edge either, but the peach color in there is definitely ringing some alarm bells for me.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. To me, I'm seeing different layers on here, which is not something I really want to see in meteorites. Art?
From my perspective, looks terrestrial rather than an extraterrestrial, especially that broken surface. So I was seeing individual crystals in there, and it's uh, it's difficult to say, but I think there's some magnetite crystals in that, and I don't know if that's it's obviously looks like it has a certain amount of iron in it as well, but I don't see any signs of regmaglyphs, flow lines, or orientation really.
Thank you. I appreciate that. This is a great freeze frame here. I see Mike Kelly with his hand up, so we're going to go to him after I point out this one thing. When you see the cut surface, you'll be able to see this a little better. And again, I mean this with all respect. The only way I can liken it in my head is a sandwich. You literally have a top piece, a binding matrix of some sort, and a bottom half. Now, you might just look at that as being something on the outside, but keep this view in mind when we see the cut surface later. Mike?
So the other opposite side and this side, if you look at the matrix to it, it looks incredibly fine-grained, and the other side almost had some translucency to it, which you would not really get in meteorites in bulk. So I got a feeling it's cherty or silicious in nature, which would key in on what you were saying too, with it possibly being like a massive piece of cherty material with some other sort of sediment in the middle.
Wow.
Silicious, so like silicate deposits like chert and
Gotcha.
flint. You know, they're basically a sedimentary deposit of basically like silicate slime on the bottom of a wet area, and then they solidify and become sedimentary rocks.
Awesome. Thank you. So, wow, I actually identified some sedimentary features. Good for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
I'm learning.
You were definitely right. That window is very telling.
Yeah. Look at, yeah, I saw this earlier. This piece right here. It's beautiful. I mean, I don't know what it is. I'll tell you what I told Sue, because I saw this last night when she was putting this together. I looked and I saw this. This is a great screen grab, by the way. I looked at it and I said, you know, again, this is not my area of expertise, but it looks like it's some kind of crystallized something that wasn't crystallized, like a fossil
Or petrified.
something petrified, or I mean, that's what it's ringing to me. Do we have any other opinions on it?
Well,
Seeing this,
I'll say I thought it was
oh,
beautiful, and the
yeah.
second I saw it, I'm like, I bet Allison can make a great necklace out of that. But it didn't look meteoritic to me at all.
Yeah, yeah.
And all
Now,
of those words that you used would be words that I would use to describe chert. So fantastic observations, guys.
okay, wow. I think that's probably what it is then. When you look at it, you see some really big crystals and you see some sedimentary layers. That to us is going to rule out a meteorite right then and there. Um, so it's a unique stone found in a unique place by itself, and it was definitely worthy of picking up. but due to the size of the crystals, the sedimentary features of it, the possibility that it's chert, we're going to go ahead and rule this as a meteor wrong. But we definitely appreciate it, and the quality of this video is really, really good. So
I would just venture to guess too, just to wrap this up, that it's possibly the black mineral that we're seeing in there that's causing the magnetic attraction. That could be some kind of a
yes,
magnetite or something in there. So
yeah, thank you for that. Perfect.
Mhm.
Keep hunting,
Oh,
Ali.
Yes, keep
Yeah,
going.
keep going.
we do have a few high-res pictures here. If anything here makes anyone rethink or have another comment, please let me know. But I think we are getting a really good look at this sample.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, Patreon Rockhounders, if you're gonna be a Rockhounder and you want to get our opinion on your sample and you're paying $25 and you're gonna shoot a video, just listen to Sue, follow her directions, and you're gonna get a so much better product, and we're gonna be able to help you so much better. I really, honestly have no doubts in my mind at all about that sample, and it's because of the quality video that we had. So thank you. All right, moving on to rock ID number 2. Who does number 2 work for? We are going with Travis. Travis sent this in. Is this Travis's first time
No,
submitting?
I believe this is Travis's third
Yeah,
rock
I was going
ID.
to say,
Yeah.
we got a repeat offender here.
Right, so this was found in northeastern Ohio, which is where I believe he has found his other specimens. This one weighs, about 6 pounds, which I think is around 2,700 grams. Highly attracted to the magnet. He did the streak test, was performed on video, and he actually saw, or I don't know exactly how you'd say it. He used a tool to grind down the external surface to show us the internal matrix, and he did that on video. Unfortunately, I did ask Travis what he thought was meteoritic. He hadn't had a chance to get back to me, so we're not exactly sure, but we'll have to take a guess when we're looking at the rock of what made him think this was a meteorite.
Awesome. Thank you, babes. I like the green and brown color of the rock. Well, I will wait for people's hands to go up, but I really am not seeing a whole lot here that's catching my attention as being meteoritic. This is, oh good, we're getting a wet view. Let's see. When you look at this area right up here, I don't see a fleck of metal at all. So that tells us something. Allison, what does that usually tell us? What does Allison's whittle it down rule say?
3 kinds of meteorites. Irons, palladites, I think we can safely remove out of the equation. That leaves us with a chondrite meteorite. We don't see chondritic features here. I'm trying to, because we didn't get his list, think of what it kind of, to me, the grains on the outside do kind of have a rounded feature. So I kind of could understand where, looking at this, before you cut a window in it, you could think, gosh, are those chondrites or chondrils in there? The outside of the rock is a different color than the inside of the rock. So again, we are making progress in identification here, but I just don't see the meteoritic features that we should hope to be seeing if this were a chondrite. I don't
Yes.
see any regmaglyphs. I don't see any fusion crust. I don't see any orientation.
Yep, I agree with you, and I'm glad that you picked up on what I was putting down. Thank you. Art, do you have a quick comment?
Threw me off was the Dremel that he just used to like polish the surface there. And if you notice, that became quite glassy.
Yeah.
So, that's what I'm going with. So
Awesome. Thank you, man.
Yep.
Yeah. Now we do see a scratch test here, and it is producing a scratch which is reddish brown. So
Mhm.
that's going to lead it towards a hematite.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So in summary, I'm not really, he didn't tell us what he was seeing, so I really can only guess. But I'm not seeing anything here as far as flecks of metal,
No.
fusion crust. It's obviously not like Allison said. It's not an iron. It's not a palisite. It's not a mesosiderite. You keep whittling down what it could be, and it could only be a very very weird achondrite, which it doesn't really look like, or a chondrite, and there's no chondrules at all, and then there seems to be almost no metal. So and glassy as we said. So
It honestly does look familiar to me as some of the meteorrongs I've brought home as well. So it definitely screams earth rock to me.
Mhm.
thank you. Yeah, here's a little closer view of the internal texture. Again, if this sparks anyone's interest, please speak up. Um, what we may be seeing there is just a weathering rind. This is not fresh olivine poking through, and it's not. I could see how the texture could be mistaken for like a Eurolite, but a Eurolite is so hard you're not going to touch it with a Dremel, and it's not going to be dusting and flying off. So again, we don't know what you think it is, so we can only tell you what we know it's not. Number 3, we have Noah in the house. So thank you very much for submitting that, Travis. We appreciate it. We're rooting for you as well. This is Noah's first one.
Yeah, Noah got he signed up and he got a video to us right away. So that's awesome. Now he didn't tell me where it was found or describe the terrain. I'm assuming Oregon just because usually most of our rockhounders are sending us videos of something they found where they live. I think that's been the case almost every time, so that's not confirmed. It is about 900 grams. And then I was told over a message that it attracts a magnet and produced a light gray streak for the streak test. That those are not done on video. And then
Okay.
also was told about the it didn't fizz when vinegar was poured on it.
What? We'll have to check in
Yeah,
later.
what? And so here's some of the features that Noah reported: fusion crust, bugs, shock veins, and chondrules.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And I love that astronaut floating up there. All right, so here we go.
He moves it nice and slowly, just like you like, Topher.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, it's staying in focus. It's well lit. Well done, man.
Mm.
It looks to me like I'm seeing the little brown areas on the outside. They're not little patches of fusion crust. The edges. I, if you look, is it just me or do you guys see a crisscrossing of lines on this? If someone knows something or sees that and has an opinion, we have lots of little lines traversing the surface of this.
I do see that, and then remind you that he believes he sees shock veins in this as well. So
Oh, okay. Wow. If those are what Noah is seeing as potential shock veins, thank you. Uh,
mhm.
I don't know if I agree with that. They, it seems to be a crack from what I see.
Especially that one just above his thumb.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, we'll let this run a little bit more, see if anyone else has some opinions. But you see, this one here goes all the way around the rock, and it's not a shock feature, it's a crevice. And shock features are usually a hardening of minerals that are more resistant to wear, not a crevice that's going to be worn first. If you look at this right here, this does not look meteoritic at all. How smooth it is, how it just sounds silly, but how hard it is, almost how glassy it is. And then you have these deep cracks. And I don't like the non-crusty crust. Talking about crusty things. Allison, what do you think?
Yeah, I
knew that
do
was
agree.
coming.
This was a fantastic video,
Yeah.
and all the information is there. One thing that Noah had mentioned in the meteoritic features that he's believing he's identifying in this piece was vugs. And I don't actually see
Yeah.
any vugs in this piece, but that would not be something we would hope to see in our meteorites. Just wanted to throw that out there and clarify that for Noah. But he also believes that he sees chondrites in this, and I am sorry, Noah, I'm going to respectfully disagree. I don't see chondrites, but furthermore, I don't see chondrules. Sorry, thank you. Furthermore, I don't see the metal blebs or anything that would be associated with a chondrite either.
Mhm.
So it just doesn't. I mean, yeah, it doesn't quite
Unless
score.
he's-
I don't see any regmaglyphs. Again, the fusion crust, no shock veins. Now, again, too, shock veins and weather cracks on meteorites are two different things. And
Mhm.
meteorites can crack due to weathering if they've been on the ground a long
Exactly.
time. And honestly, Noah, the sample looks more weather cracked than shock featured. And I think that's probably about all I had to add.
He did say in his message that, and I'm not sure if he was saying he wasn't sure if he was identifying it correctly, but he said he looks like it has bugs, but he says I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly or not. So
Sure.
maybe it was something else that he was seeing and just didn't have the right word for it.
And just again to clarify, vugs would be the little holes. I do see a couple there on the crust, I suppose,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
little holes. Mostly when we're talking about vugs, we're talking about in the internal matrix of our meteorites.
Yeah.
So just again,
Exactly.
a clarification there.
Thank you very much. Boris, do you have an opinion on this?
Yeah, no, I agree with what everyone said in terms of it probably being terrestrial. It is. It looks to me that it's just a very highly weathered rock that's been rounded, very well. It's been exposed for a very long time. Probably, in a stream, it's been bounced around a lot, abraded. I think perhaps the the vug comment is maybe he's referring to some of those little impact gouges along the surface that kind of look vuggy, but I really think it's just from being rolled around and abused a lot throughout its life, in a natural terrestrial process. And what I'm seeing also is, and I think you picked up on this right away, Topher, was, there's that sort of orthogonal orientation of what looks to be fractures. And I think what you're probably seeing is a combination of internal layering that's just being sort of elevated just due to the weathering process. And then it's a highly fractured rock internally. And it's just a combination of fractures and layering. And this is common and exposure to water, to wind, to chemicals will bring that out in the surface of the rock.
Fantastic. I definitely appreciate that. Yeah, I think we pretty much nailed this one. I do want to just touch base one more time on the black. Yeah, this right here. This is where I mean, you will see some crossing of shock veins in meteorites. Anything and everything's possible. But are you going to see a checkerboard pattern traversing the entire surface of the meteorite? No, that is a very, very rare occurrence. It would definitely stand out. And yeah, so I'm really glad that Boris was able to talk to that. All right, if you're looking at this area here, which what could be considered or possibly considered fusion crust, if you look at this is nice. You can actually see a hot spot, a reflective light right here, which is really good because it allows you to see the surface of it, and it's really smooth. It's super smooth. Yeah, it looks like it's not been honed to 3,000 grit, but it's smooth. You're never going to see black fusion crust on a rounded rock has that is still black, and there's cracks in between without it crumbling and falling off. That right there is not what fusion crust looks like. And again, I'm sorry, Noah. I'm gonna just make a joke because that's what I get paid to do. It looks like a nice baked potato right there. Sorry.
One more
because
thing that I did just notice, that's on like the wear side of the stone. That's on like the most rounded, sticky
Yeah.
outest side of that stone. If there was
Exactly.
anywhere that a fusion crust would wear away first, it would be on that rounded, most forward end. And that's
Perfect.
where we think we see a fusion crust remain, and that just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Uh-oh, now we're getting silly, guys. The cat cameo. Oh, that's awesome. Nice. All right. We are going to
That was one of my favorite meteorite pictures I've ever gotten from a
Yeah.
Rockounder.
this was kind of interesting because Pat, we get asked a few times in these rock submissions about nickel testing at home, about connectivity testing, specific gravity testings, and these are all things that we turn to Science Pat Mike Drop Brown. That's a long name, man.
with
but
his
Pat,
pitmobile.
if you would please, in this video, Noah said that he was looking at fizz and stuff with vinegar. That's a new one on me. Can you talk to that, please?
Yeah, sure. So, vinegar here is just being used because it's a weak acid and it's very available. Um, it's a common rockhounder test to do to apply vinegar to a rock and to check and see whether it bubbles or not. When it does bubble, that's an indication that you got carbonates, and particularly calcium carbonate, which we know is limestone. Same thing as hard water deposits on your sink faucet. So, limestone and calcium carbonates are very soft materials, and we don't really see that in this rock. It's quite hard, and it's not surprising that it did not bubble in the presence of vinegar. So it doesn't contain limestone. Many of the sedimentary rocks are bound together with these lime deposits. So this test, I think, is not appropriate for this rock. And what we're looking at there is a very, very hard rock that spent a lot of time in a river, I think. And that's what I have.
Awesome. Thank you, man. The what would back up your science with real world experience. When I get my lunars from Africa, they're covered in a limestone covering. Sometimes we call a caliche, and I put them into vinegar to fizzle and soften up that caliche because it has these carbonate materials in it.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. So thank you very much. Well, thank you, crew, very much. I really appreciate your help. I'm hoping that Ali, Travis, and Noah appreciate the answers and the information they got from us today. If you'd like to have your sample analyzed by the crew, it's very easy to do that. All you need to do is go to Patreon, look for Topher Meteorites, and become a Rockhound member. Thank you very much. Have a great week.